meditation, greeting the day, and knowing that we're in the divine right and perfect place. And go ahead and close your eyes, make any adjustments that you need to for yourself. Crystal, would you please mute everyone? And again, as always, focus on your breath. The in and the out is receiving and releasing, opening to the present moment. Not what happened yesterday, what's going to happen later today, but through the breath, we focus on this present moment. And today's word is integrity. You might say that as you breathe in as well as breathing out, or return to the heartfelt I am. And in the stillness of the day, we open our hearts, our minds, our souls to the divine that is deep within us, that is here with us today. As we focus on integrity, the integrity that lies deep within each and every one of us, the integrity that we have with our friends, with our family, with the store, with our neighbors, with anyone that we encounter. And we know indeed that the truth always rises up within us. And so we give thanks for this opportunity to be in the two or more, because it is through this process of togetherness that we open our hearts and our minds to a greater and deeper spiritual practice and faith. It is through this process that we grow spiritually, and we give thanks for that. And so I just know all of this to be our truth. So I just let it go. I let it be. And so it is. So this morning we are dealing with integrity. Amy, would you read the definition for us?
Definition: firm adherence to a code of especially moral or artistic values, an unimpaired condition, the quality or state of being complete or undivided.
And Spring, would you read the quote for us? Spring, are you there? Or is that Barbara? No, that's Spring. Barbara, would you read the quote for us?
Yeah, she's muted too.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. The quote is from Emerson's Essays, R. Emerson. Nothing is at last sacred, but the integrity of our own mind.
Peggy, how about the Bible this morning?
2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 21. For we are very careful to do the right thing, not only in the presence of God, but also in the presence of man.
And this morning is from the Sower's Seeds. And it says, the Chicago Tribune reported about a big high school soccer game between Wheaton Christian and Wabash Valley. Wabash was the bigger school and its team had the better record. But it wasn't until late in the game that Wabash Valley took a 3-2 lead. As the clock ticked towards the end of the game, Wabash Valley took another shot on the Wheaton goal. The goalie stopped the ball, then threw it to his team star player, Rob, a senior who was the school's all-time top scorer. Rob moved the ball past the defenders until the goal was within his range. He faked the goalkeeper and kicked the ball into the goal, tying the game. The Wheaton fans erupted in cheers. Rob's goal had saved his team from defeat. But Rob noticed something. The clock on the scoreboard behind the goal had ticked down to 0 before he kicked the ball. After consulting with the referees who had not noticed that the time had expired and who had already left the field, Rob told his coach that Wabash Valley should get the victory. They agreed and told the opposing coach that his team actually won the game. When interviewed later, Rob said he considered the situation not as a tough decision, but as an opportunity. Rob told a reporter, every time you have an opportunity to do right, you should be thankful. He continued, for a person to know what is right and then not do it, that would be a sin. Rob explained, to have won the game, I mean, really, who cares? Doing the right thing is more important. It lets you have peace. Every time you are lucky enough to be given the opportunity to do right, you shouldn't pass it up. These little books, I love them. They have so many great little stories that explain it better than trying to read an involved situation. All right, our affirmation for the today is integrity is who I am. And our practice is become aware of any negative thoughts you may have and replace them with positive thoughts. So kind of keep track, maybe take a piece of paper and split it and fold it in half and have your negative and replace it with an affirmation. So if you look at something, you say, oh gosh, look at that chin that's getting too long. Go back, make an affirmation, oh my gosh, I age with beauty, rather than belittling yourself or putting yourself down. So I want you to take negative thoughts and turn them into positive thoughts. And don't tell me you don't have any negative thoughts, because I know that's not true. We all tend to go to that place of negativity with our appearance, with what we're dealing with, etc. So today's journaling is the thing about integrity. So go ahead and get started on your journaling. All right, bring it to a close. Sandy, you look like you're contemplating your writing. You're muted.
Yeah, where do I want to go next?
This was a tough one to write about for me. I don't know how the rest of you dealt with it. Would anybody like to share? Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I did a lot of ramblings, and I'll just be succinct about it. And it's I came up with a quote at the end, and it's I'm impeccable with my words, beliefs, and actions when I remain in integrity.
Yeah.
But it's just about being. It's a practice. It's letting go of my ego, not wanting to be right. You know, not needing to be right. I want to be right. We all do, I think, but the right decision is to be in integrity. For me,
Yep.
It's a breath released. It's not held on to. It's a natural flow of who we are, our own integrity.
Anybody else want to share? Peggy and then Amy.
Okay, the thing about integrity is that it seems to be in short supply these days. People worried about their survival as a congressman, newscasters concerned about ratings, doctors and scientists eager to push an agenda, seem only too eager to sell their souls rather than to seek out and share what is true. And fact checkers seem powerless against them as citizens cling to beliefs rather than seek the truth. Inside each of us is integrity, but it gets covered over and choked by thorns. At the same time, there are those who have integrity that shines through. It's not that it is entirely lacking, but the current situation reveals that individually and collectively as a nation, we have work to do to uncover, rediscover, and reveal our integrity. Let it begin with me. I ask myself, where am I lacking in integrity? When do I sacrifice truth for false beliefs? How can I heal?
Thank you. Amy.
Mine's very short, which I had a hard time with it too. And I'm thinking that there's definitely something I need to look into here because I thought I had an idea of what integrity was and I put it on the shelf and that's not good. So I want to take that down and look at it a bit. So mine was really quick and short. I said, the thing about integrity is that it keeps you in line. That is to say, in alignment with the truth. My mother said, if you never lie, you never have to remember anything. Being integrous in word, thought, or action is the truth. It's the truth of who we are. When I live in integrity, I don't have to remember who I am. In integrity, I am living as me, a divine, authentic, individuated expression of God.
Thank you. Anyone else want to share Sandy, go for it.
The thing about integrity is that it requires conscious choice. It may require passing up a quick and convenient path of action for a conscious choice based on values and truth. A small thing but noticeable is when asked, how are you? And the knee-jerk response is fine. Integrity would require checking in with oneself before answering and require deep listening to the self before replying. It is easier to refer to action from another as being out of integrity than it is to self. To find the slips within ourself, it takes awareness. When I'm out of integrity, perhaps not telling the whole truth, I have a visceral feeling when I'm out of the balance of integrity. In order to be out of integrity, I must be holding on to a false belief and reacting from my false self rather than accepting my truth.
Thank you. Well, you got some good stuff out of it. It sounds like, all of you that have read or that have shared, you've really hit the nail on the head. Anybody, we've got a few more minutes yet. Anybody else want to share? Barbara, go ahead.
You're muted.
Unmute. There we go.
Mine.
Here.
Oh, thank you. The thing about integrity, doing what is right, requires honesty. How I view things honestly affects my doing right. It is sometimes easier to act on one's wishes and desires, even if they're not right. Winning can be the result of fraudulent behavior. I truly believe, though, that despite the actions that might harm me, which are fraudulent and which are not right, God wins in the end.
Thank you. Crystal, are you wanting to share?
I can tell you guys, I mean, I think that all of it is just so amazing that everyone's coming up with. I felt like initially, I just will tell you this. I felt integrity to me, like if you're not living in integrity, it's to sin and to like miss the mark, right? So it's not the end of the world if you sin, but you're missing something. And so this kind of helped me to like dig a little deeper into my life as to like what it was, but it took me a really long time to get there, to process like, what do I feel like I'm not living in integrity? And what it really came down to is, you know, I don't know if it's just my position or just how I view the world, but I don't often state like, you know, I share what my political views are with people, but I don't really act on them. And like from a human rights standpoint, I feel like I'm really missing the mark, but I'm also living in fear. And so, you know, finding that balance is one of those things for me that I think is something that I would like to see myself like promote more integrity with, because it's important, you know. And I fear you know, an uprising of a war within our country of division, and I don't need to stay in that spot necessarily, but I also want to make sure that I live with integrity with that. And so, you know, just kind of putting myself like, what does that look like to me, and how do I do that from a place of love? And yeah, so anyways, it was a tough one. Tough
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Terry, do you want to share anything?
Well, I've been told I have strong integrity, but I don't always feel that I do. And after reading the name of the book is eluding me. Anyways, one of the things the book said in the picture with Adolf Hitler and thousands of people standing with their hands up in a Heil Hitler, we've all seen that picture, but there is a man in the upper right-hand corner that doesn't have his hand raised. It also talks about lynchings and people having parties at lynchings. And when I read that, they took kids out of school and it was this big thing. I thought, if I grew up in that, would I think that was normal? Because obviously I don't think it's normal. And I don't think it's with integrity, but would I have the integrity to stand up to things like that? Kind of goes along with what Crystal was saying and the way the US is right now. I don't know. And it bothers me that I don't know. I would like to think I would be the person to not stand with my hand up or to try to stop something. But I'm not sure I'm brave enough for that.
Terry,
So
if you come across the book or you can think of it, why don't you shoot
Cal,
an email
it's
out and let
Cal.
us all know, or send it to me and I'll send it out to everybody.
The name of the book is Caste, C-A-S-T-E.
Okay. Well, we're at 7:30 and we've certainly got a lot to ponder for the rest of the day. It sounds like this one kind of charged just a little bit, but one way to also look at it is the words that I picked and that others took a check on were all words that were indicative of Jesus. And so, Jesus certainly had integrity. And and he stood up for what he believed in and what he felt that he had come to earth to teach. So just kind of ponder that one as you continue with the day. So who would like to treat us out today or pray us out? Michael, go for it. Thank you.
As we have realized our oneness through this divine spiritual manifestation called gratitude, I know that the deeper seeds of ideas within each one of us, those seeds of integrity, have been germinated to bring about a new idea for ourselves individually about what integrity is, and to allow that to rise, to shine, to bloom through each one of us, knowing that we do make a difference and can take the proper divine loving action toward real visceral change within ourselves and in the world. And so I know this to be a loving truth that we carry with us this day, and to be aware of how it is we are loving and living and being in joy today, not only for ourselves, but to all those around us. So I know this to be the truth for me. I know it's the truth for you, because there's only one truth. So I release my word, and we affirm together by saying, and so it is.
So it is. Amen.
And
See everybody tomorrow morning. Good work. Good work.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Have a good day, Miss Crystal. Let me know what you think of the music. What do you think?
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I do